नमस्कार दोस्तों, दिस इज ये हेमंत गुप्ता and welcome to another part of pre-package insolvency resolution process in relation to MSME. In this part, I am going to discuss some section in relation to chapter 3A. Now moving on to chapter 3A, which is actually the meat of this ordinance introduced. So it basically contains 16 sections from section 54A to 54P. Let's start with section 54A. It basically talks about eligibility of corporate debtor to dive into this process. First of all, that corporate debtor needs to be classified as MSME under section 7 subsection 1 of MSMED Act 2006. Then he also has to furnish or rather meet certain condition before being eligible for this process. There should not be any current CIRP going on. There should not be any pre-packaged or CIRP during the last 3 years before filing the application. There should not be any pending liquidation order under section 633 against the corporate debtor. Eligibility criteria mentioned under section 29A should also be met by the corporate debtor. Further, unrelated financial creditor should also prescribe or propose or accept the name of IRP, rather approve the name of IRP to function as a resolution professional under this process. Further, 66% of financial creditor in value should also approve the proposal in relation to initiation of this process. Then there also has to be a declaration by the corporate debtor or partner of corporate debtor, by director or partner, like this process is not being initiated to defraud any creditor, that they will also file this application for initiation of this process within 90 days of its approval by financial creditor. Then the name of the proposed and approved insolvency professional to act as a RP, which will be approved by financial creditor. And then it also needs to be accompanied by a special resolution or 3/4 voting by partners approving the filing of insolvency resolution process as pre-packaged. Okay, then it is also the duty of corporate debtor to seek minimum 66% approval from financial creditor in value about filing of application in prescribed form, that pre-package insolvency resolution application is to be filed. However, if there are no financial creditor, then also the regulation will specify who has to approve the application. Okay. Then while filing the application, the CD will provide, before filing the application rather, the CD will provide to financial creditor the declaration as mentioned just now, a special resolution or a resolution by 3/4 of partners, base resolution plan, how he wants to come out of this insolvency. So minimum a base resolution plan has to be given by corporate debtor, which should also conform to section 54K and such other information as might be specified perhaps in regulation. Okay. Now moving on to section 54B. Now 54A has been taken care of. Now the role of resolution professional comes in. So section 54B basically talks about duty of resolution professional. So it basically states from the moment the resolution plan or application or such pre-packaged insolvency resolution process has been approved by financial creditor, the role of resolution professional starts. He has to prepare a report confirming whether a corporate debtor meets the requirement of section 54A or not. Then file the report with IBBI, and he might also be asked to perform such other duty, maybe by way of rules or maybe through regulation. However, the duty of resolution professional will come to an end if corporate debtor does not file that application within a period of 90 days, or pre-pack insolvency resolution process is either accepted or rejected by the adjudicating authority. So corporate debtor का रोल उस टाइम पे बिल्कुल स्टैंड स्टिल खत्म हो जाएगा. अब बारी आती है फीस टू बी पेड टू रेजोल्यूशन प्रोफेशनल. सो Section 54 says that if the application is accepted, the fee payable to resolution professional will form part of pre-package insolvency resolution process cost. However, if the application is not submitted, this is not mentioned here, but regulation talks about it, the corporate debtor is supposed to pay that fees. So how the fees will be determined and quantified will be there in perhaps in regulation, or the COC will be approving it with regard to quantum of fees. Now moving on to section 54C, which talks about application for filing, or rather application to initiate pre-package insolvency resolution process. So it basically states if everything said in 54A has been complied with, then you go ahead and file an application. Form and manner of application again has been specified in regulation, which were made applicable from I think 9th of April 2021. So while filing this application, the kind of attachment which are required, I think we have already discussed some of these in previous section, like declaration by corporate debtor, copy of special resolution, consent by insolvency resolution professional, approval by financial creditor for filing pre-pack insolvency resolution process application, basic detail about insolvency resolution professional, declaration of transaction under chapter 3 in relation to avoidance, and chapter 4 in relation to fraudulent transaction, which if corporate debtor things are there, needs to be, for which any appropriate action needs to be taken, and certain information regarding books of account and what will be those books of account will also be specified in regulation. Okay, then after you submit the application, the adjudicating authority has 14 days either to approve or reject it. If there is any defect, AA will give 7 days time to remove that defect and then accordingly dispose of the application. So after it's admitted, the pre-pack insolvency commencement date will be from the date of admission of order as discussed above. So what will be the time limit for completion of this process? Section 54D talks about it. It says this whole process needs to be completed within a period of 120 days. Resolution professional needs to file for plan within 90 days, and if no plan is there, then resolution professional has to move and file an application for termination of this process. This is what section 54D says in nutshell. Once the application is there, it's approved. Now their question comes of order, and question comes of moratorium and public announcement. So once the order is made, the court will ensure it has following things. It declare a moratorium as per section 14 subsection 1. It appoints the RP as named in the application and causes a public announcement to be made by resolution professional. So moratorium will be effective from the date of commencement of insolvency resolution till the end of pre-package insolvency resolution period. Okay, now going forward further, the section which talks, section 54F is there, which talks about duties and power of insolvency resolution professional. It's not insolvency resolution professional, even though per se in this case, it will be RP resolution professional in this case. So his predominant duties would be, first of all, he has to confirm the list of creditors submitted by corporate debtor as per section 54G, which we are going to discuss later on. Then he has to intimate those creditors like these are their claim, and whether they confirm or not, resolution professional has to verify those claims and inform the creditors. He has to maintain the updated list of creditor also. He has to monitor the affair of corporate debtor as well during the insolvency period. He also has to inform the COC about any breach which is done by a corporate debtor with regard to his obligation or with regard to provision of IBC. He has to constitute the COC, he has to convey the meeting of COC and also attend the meeting of COC. He further needs to prepare an information memorandum based on preliminary information submitted by corporate debtor under section 54G. And then it is also the duty of resolution professional to file for avoidance transaction under chapter 3 and fraudulent transaction under chapter 4, which we briefly say PUFE transaction, preferential undervalued, extortionate and fraudulent transaction as per section 43, 45, 50 and 60 of IBC. So now a lot of duties have been casted upon resolution professional. Now to balance them, there has to be some kind of power also. So his first and foremost power is that he can access the books of account of corporate debtor. He can access the record of corporate debtor with information utility if there are any. He can access the accounts, records of corporate debtor with any government authority. He is entitled to attend board of director meeting also. He is also empowered to appoint professionals, legal or accountant for any work in relation to corporate debtor. Further, in relation to filing of avoidance or fraudulent transaction, any application in relation to that, he is also supposed to take the financial detail of corporate debtor or investigate or inquire about those detail for the last 2 years in relation to operation of corporate debtor before insolvency commencement date, financial and operational payments for the same period of 2 years. He also can get the list of assets and liability of corporate debtor as on insolvency commencement date and such other information as may be specified. Okay, so it will be the duty of any financial institution to furnish the information to resolution professional post insolvency commencement date. Also, promoter and employees of corporate debtor are also supposed to cooperate with the resolution professional. If they are not cooperating, then provision of section 19(2) and provision of section 19 subsection 3 will be applicable as in case of a CIRP. So again, resolution professional fees will be determined in the form and manner as may be specified. However, the COC may impose certain restriction or upper limit on expenses of resolution professional. However, any fee payable to resolution professional prior to pre-package insolvency commencement date will have to be ratified, and it will be paid subject to ratification by COC only. Thank you for watching this video. I hope I have been able to give you some kind of crux in relation to pre-package insolvency resolution process in relation to sections which I discussed in this section. Kindly do let me know if you have any queries or question in relation to this topic. I would be more than happy to assist you in that. Thank you.